All right, we'd like to welcome Tom Kim to the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. Tom, this is your fourth consecutive start here at this tournament. What do you like so much about coming back to play here?
First of all, it's just a home week. I think that's always really nice. I have good memories here. I haven't really played the best that I could have the last few years, but this was my first appearance before my really big run in 22, and I think every time I come back, I kind of just reflect to those moments of before I was a PGA Tour member. The emotion of the excitement that I felt coming in here and playing here, and it's just try to relive those memories and just try to bring that fire back like I did in 22.
Tom, you're a three-time PGA Tour winner. This is your 11th start this season, your first since the Masters, where you finished T52. Mm-hmm. How would you assess your form so far this season?
Yeah, it's been interesting. There's moments where I've had better starts than I've had previous years, and then there's been moments of uncertainty of where'd the game go. And with a strong fall last year and 4 second-place finishes, I was really into that moment of, man, I'm really close to kind of getting over the hump, and it's just been a process to find that again. I made a few changes in the off season, and it's been good at some times, but it's also been backfiring. But I think that's part of the process, and I'm trying to stay really, really patient in what I'm doing. I'm not trying to push when it's hard to, because there's an expectation in myself and a belief in myself to perform the way that I know I can, and to not be able to do that personally, it's frustrating. But I think I feel really close. It's just going to take a little bit more time, and I'm aware of that. And hopefully, I'll be able to find my form again where I can contend a little more consistently.
All right, just a reminder to everybody, we're going to do this first in English, and then we'll do some questions in Korean towards the end. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone. We'll start with Brad in the front.
How much of the course have you seen early this week with the overseeding? How is it playing? Any different from recent years?
No, I saw the front nine last week. I came over here and played a few holes, and it's very different. I think it's way better. I think it's more challenging. I think this golf course can show its teeth, and I think with the Zoysia grass, I feel like before, just around the greens, it doesn't bring that big of I think challenging at times because you could just spin the ball a lot. But now with the overseed, it really challenges you to be able to hit the ball well, and contact is very, 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 very important. And I think with how good this property is, it brings a lot more challenge to the top guys, and I think it's just overall just such a better design with the overseed.
Yes, sir.
Tom, how often do you play out here living in Dallas?
Like Craig Ranch?
Yes.
Not much really. Whenever I'm home, I try to go back to my club. Just try to get away from tournament golf, and I live 35 minutes from here, so it's a little ways away, and I'm normally here just for the tournament.
And you've been one of the best iron players on tour over the last 3 years. How would you evaluate that aspect of your game after San Antonio and Augusta?
I think the belief is very high with my iron game, knowing that if I just get anywhere near on a run, I feel like I can hit it as close as anybody, and I felt like I proved that in very high pressure conditions. It just hasn't been where it needs to be. My golf swing is just not feeling so comfortable as it did in the last fall. I think, I've lost a few pounds just fitness-wise, and, I think that's got a little bit of just my body's just not used to it, and I know it's going to take time, but, once I know I find it with where I am now, it's going to be really good.
Brad, do you have an email?
If I'm not mistaken, your best finish here is tied for 13th. Can you put a finger on why South Korean golfers have done so well in this tournament?
I actually don't know. I think, KH has won here twice. Is that right? I think. I think when I first came here, I was at 163 ball speed, and now I'm at 174. So I think the course definitely is playing a little differently than it did last time. I was hitting a lot more longer clubs, but I was very precise. And I think there's certain holes here that really make you lose shots, and at the same time makes you gain shots. And when 22, when I was really, really precise with a lot of parts of my game, you just keep creating a lot of birdie opportunities. And I think Korean golf is very, very well known for the precision that we have. I think a lot of the Korean players are more accurate than a lot of certain players, and I think when you can hit a lot of fairways and a lot of greens, the greens are always really good here. So once that putter gets hot, you're going to make a ton of birdies, and that's what you got to do out here. But obviously, with this year, with how different the fairways have become, it's become a lot tighter. There's a lot more rough. So even ball striking is even more important to be able to create those birdie opportunities. And I think when you consider all the top Korean players, we're pretty decent ball strikers, and I think that's why guys have had success. Yeah.
Tom, I wanted to ask you about the President's Cup. We just had an announcement of the captains for both teams, Brandt Snedeker for the US team and Jeff Ogilvie for the international team. You've been a member of that team for the past two playings of it. Jeff was involved as a co-captain. Just some thoughts on the selection and what you look forward to in 26.
No, it's really cool. I'm really happy for Jeff. He really deserves it. I've been a part of two President's Cups, and he's been vice captains for both of them. And I think we've had a lot of good runs. We've had a lot of good days. We went 5-0 on Friday last year. I think it was a really, really big moment for the team. I know at the end of Sunday, the scores weren't as close as we'd expected to, but we've had moments where we've scared the U.S. team, and he's been a part of that. And I think the belief is there we can get over the hump. And I think with Jeff, seeing the really high moments and the low moments, if he can just bring us, play that role of he has that charisma and the aura to be able to lead us to win, and he has the confidence for sure. Being a major winner, knowing what it's like to win at big events, and if he can just get our team to keep experiencing the higher highs a little bit more, and the lows just be a little better. I really believe that we'll have a chance. Especially, I know how hard it is in American soil.
Tom, I know you're young, and I'm not sure if you're a bit of a history buff in golf or whether how much you follow it, but the connection of Byron Nelson being involved in this tournament for so many years, but then also just recently seeing Rory McIlroy achieve something that's no one's seen for a long time. What were your thoughts on Rory's victory, and what was your first impression when that happened?
Yeah, just I think so happy for him. The emotions that let out on the 18th green were so real and raw. I got to play with Rory at my first Masters on Monday, the practice round, and the first 2 days, and I could just see the even no matter how hard you try, you can still personally you can only imagine what he's feeling. The pressure that he's feeling, and to be able to do that and watching the last few holes, I've never really felt that nervous for someone else before. Just like this guy is trying to chase history, and it's taken him so long to be able to do that and to be in the position that he's at. It's unimaginable, and I think everyone, he definitely made it a lot harder on himself than it should have been. And I think he kept everyone on their toes for, I think, 3 hours. But once he got it done, I was just, so happy for him. And it's really good for the game of golf. And I think a few players have said it, but he finally got over that major hump. So it's going to be a lot more challenging for us to compete.
I'm not sure you were even alive the last time that was achieved in 2000 when Tiger did it. But there's another opportunity coming up shortly with Jordan Spieth, the PGA Championship. I mean, witnessing it once in your lifetime is pretty amazing, but how would you feel about it if it were to happen again in the same year?
It'd be astronomical for the game of golf. I really do believe that. You know, to be able to have 2 Korean Grand Slams in 1 year, you know, we've only had, is it 5 now? 6 now. 6 now.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Jordan again being such a big face of the game of golf would be really good for us for the PGA Tour, and you know, I think he's seeing Rory do it for sure is going to motivate him more to get it done in Charlotte.
And just finally, before we take some questions in Korean, you're paired on Thursday afternoon with defending champion Taylor Pandrith and fellow countryman Sung Jae Im, team member of President's Cup. Just what are you looking forward to about that pairing on Thursday?
Yeah, it's really fun. You know, obviously Sung Jae being Korean, you know, we've gone along really well, so we're going to have some fun out there. And Taylor being part of the President's Cup, it's just going to be a cool international group. Obviously, very, very comfortable personalities to go around and play golf in, and it's a home game week for me, so there's an amount of expectations I want to do well and hopefully have a chance on Sunday. So we're going to put our head down, we're going to have some fun, but you know, once Thursday comes, it's going to be competition mode.
All right, Tom, we appreciate your time and good luck this week.
Thank you.
If you just stay and we'll take some questions from Hogel's side here. And anyone? Yes.
안녕하세요. 저 2대12 주미 기자라고 합니다. 뭐 작년까지는 성적이 좋았는데 사실 올해는 조금 좀 성적이 좋지 않아서 어떤 부분에서 좀 난조를 겪고 있는지 궁금하고, 또 전 코치님하고 같이 하고 있다고 들었어요. 어떤 부분 좀 집중해서 하고 계신지 말씀 부탁드립니다.
네, 일단 작년 가을보다 확실히 변화를 조금 더 주고 싶어서 변화를 줬고, 일단 롱런을 하는 걸 봤을 때 참 어떤 부분을 보완을 해야 되는지를 생각을 많이 했었는데, 그거를 변화를 줬지만 그 변화를 줬을 때 당연히 좋은 것도 있지만 안 좋은 거가 따라올 수도 있다는 건 알고 있었지만, 그래도 제 경기력을 봤을 때 그 다음 단계까지 가려면 많은 변화가 필요할 거라는 거를 인지하고 있기 때문에 그거를 좀 인내심 있게 변화를 주고 있으려고 하고, 일단 뭐 이제 이표님이랑 다시 뭐 하는 부분에 대해서는 일단 22년도에 일단 한국에 있을 때도 계속 같이 했었고, 일단은 지금 뭐 미국 코치도 있지만 일단은 같이 저는 늘 약간 변화를 조금 더 있으면서, 그리고 어떤 코치는 어떤 생각을 갖고 있고 어떤 코치는 다른 생각을 갖고 있기 때문에 저한테 맞는 거를 찾아서 그거를 좀 혼자서 좀 느끼고 좀 생각을 하고 좀 제 걸로 변화시키는 거를 어렸을 때부터 했기 때문에 그거를 다시 그 느낌을 찾으려고 하고 있고, 일단 밸런스적으로 몸도 변화가 너무 많아졌고 예전보다 근육량도 좀 많이 달라졌고 살도 많이 빠진 상태에서 지금 경기를 하고 있기 때문에 그 밸런스를 다시 찾으려고 지금 변화를 주고 있는 것 같습니다.
We'll go over to this side for one question, Tom.
네, 저 중앙일보 성호준 기자로 합니다. 두 가지 물어보겠습니다. 텍사스에 몇 년 이제 살아셨는데 텍사스에서 벤 호건, 뭐 바이런 넬슨, 스피스, 셰플러 같은 뛰어난 선수들이 나오는데 그 이유가 뭐라고 생각하는지가 하나고요. 두 번째는 아까 비슷한 질문이 나왔지만 한국 선수들이 여기서 많이 우승을 했는데 이게 혹시 한국 선수들이 이쪽에서 많이 거주하면서 집 근처에서 자기 집에서 자고 집밥을 먹고 이런 거랑 혹시 관계가 있을지 좀 대답해 주세요.
일단 첫 번째는 저도 그건 진짜 잘 모르겠는데, 아무래도 저는 그 비행기 시간이 좀 많이 도움이 되는 것 같아요. 아무래도 중간에 있다 보니까 이동 거리가 일단 어디든지 하루에 올 수 있고, 어떤 상황에서는 가끔씩은 일요일날 도착 못하는 상황에서 바로 올 수 있고, 그리고 비행기 시차도 일단 중간이다 보니까 좀 회복 시간도 좀 빠르고, 한국 선수들 여기서 잘하는 이유는 사실은 일단 코스가 샷을 잘해야 되고, 샷을 잘할수록 버디 기회가 많아지고 일단 성적이 낮은 코스이기 때문에 일단 찬스를 가장 만드는 게 중요한 것 같아요. 그래서 그렇게 한국도 선수들은 또 샷이 더 좋은 편이기 때문에 이렇게 기회를 만들 때마다 찬스가 많다 보니까 파터만 좀 떨어지면 좋은 성적이 나왔던 것 같아요.
Anyone else? All good? Oh. One more.
올해 지금 페닉스컵 랭킹 76위 정도인 걸로 봤고 올해부터 시드가 줄어들잖아요. 그래서 지금 뭐 안정적이긴 하지만 또 길다면 길 수도 있고 짧다면 짧을 수도 있는 기간 남겨놓고 있는데 남은 시즌에 어떤 부분 더 보완하고 싶은지랑 올해 목표까지만 말씀해 주세요.
근데 일단 저는 가장 지금 좀 중요하게 생각하고 있는 거는 일단 전체적으로 좀 더 모든 게 좀 더 단단해지고 싶다는 생각이 많이 드는 것 같아요. 뭐 성적만 잘 나오는 그런 것보다 저는 일단 제 삶에서 제 뭐 멘탈적으로 실력적으로 이제 약간 뭐 표현 과하게 할 수도 있지만 좀 이제 좀 찔려도 피가 안 나올 정도로 모든 게 좀 단단해졌으면 좋겠고 그게 저는 지금 이런 힘든 좀 안 되는 상황에서 극복을 할수록 좀 나중에 만약에 더 큰 선수가 되고 더 많은 걸 이뤘을 때 그거에 대한 집중이 휘두르지 않는 그런 과정이라고 생각을 합니다. 이 힘든 과정이 그 안 되는 과정이 그런 시대가 올 거라고 생각을 하고 그 잘 됐을 때 집중력을 잃지 않는 이런 힘듦을 생각을 할 수 있는 시간이 될 것 같아서 지금을 잘 조용하게 인내심 있게 잘 견뎌내려고 하고 있습니다.
Okay. Looks like everyone has what they need. Tom, we appreciate your time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Got it.